Welcome to College Gym Today. I'm your co-host Taqiy and my partner in crime Gio. How you doing, homeboy?
Not too bad. Ready to talk some gymnastics? How about yourself?
Hey man, I'm always ready to talk some gymnastics. It was a great weekend. We had Stanford Open, Nebraska versus Michigan, Penn State versus Illinois. It's a great weekend of gymnastics, Gio. But let's get this party started with the first competition of the year. Not really first competition, but the first competition for Stanford at Stanford Open. Let's go. So Stanford won the Stanford Open. Team USA was second. Oklahoma rounded out the top three. Geo, we had something a little weird happening over the weekend. I wasn't expecting to see a Team USA team at the Stanford Open,
Mhm.
and when I saw the Team USA at the Stanford Open, they were comprised of all Stanford Cardinals. So in my
Mm.
head, I was like, all right, is this just a Stanford thing with Team USA? What's happening? I did talk to Tom Gleamy after the competition. He did inform me that there were supposed to be more athletes a part of the Team USA team outside of the Stanford athletes, but they pulled out. So that is why that looked how it did. So Gio, tell me, what were your takeaway from the Stanford Open this weekend?
I mean, it just shows the depth of Stanford, really, just because they don't have the Team USA guys on their lineup and they still hit a 410, which is just so crazy because they're beating all the other teams with some of their best guys not on lineup. So their ceiling is very high, and it's only going to get even better as the season goes on. So it's just going to be crazy when they have their, killer lineup, one would say. So it's
Yeah.
going to be, they're going to be very, very good. I think they will go undefeated this season, and it's theirs to lose every single competition they go to.
Yep. Well, they may go undefeated the rest of the year because we cannot forget that they did not win the Rocky Mountain Open, so they already have an L on their
True.
scorecard.
That's true.
So,
Hmm.
but anyway, like you said, Stanford just looked great. You know what I mean? They started out on the vault and then they kind of just slayed every single event from there. The floor, they did have some struggles, but I'm just going to speak to the parallel bar lineup. Their parallel bar team is stacked. Blake Soon with the 15-7, and then Kern Phillips with the highest start value in the country right now, I think. So it was just one of those things where watching them perform on parallel bars is just a treat. You know, they go out there, they do hard gymnastics, and they execute it very, very well. Overall, I think Stanford is just, we knew this going into the year, but they just look that much better when it comes at least gymnastics start value wise. Like I think their execution is as good as other teams like Oklahoma or Michigan, but those start values and then just their overall difficulty throughout every event is just staggering right now, especially considering that some of their athletes haven't even competed for Stanford yet. Brandon Briones is not in yet. So, that was just it was just impressive to watch them put forth almost two teams, but nonetheless, they did great gymnastics and they came out with the W. So, what was your takeaway from watching Oklahoma, Gio?
Oklahoma just remained consistent. They upped their start value a little bit going into this. And you could kind of tell they're still not used to that higher start value because their execution was a little lower. They had a little more falls than Rocky Mountain. But that's what they got to do if they're really trying to compete with Stanford. They got to get their start value up, and they have to hit. So that's what they have to do. They're doing the right things, but it's very difficult to beat Stanford team right now.
Oh, it's extremely difficult to beat Stanford. But the thing is, which I'm still just uberly impressed by with Oklahoma, is that they're able to get a lot of contribution from their younger athletes. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's like you just don't always see that from a team, especially Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Oklahoma, obviously you have people like Yul Moldauer, who was just an extremely well, well
yeah,
seasoned gymnast when he got to Oklahoma, but for them, for someone like Fuzzy Venus and then Ray Dell to go out there and really just perform like upperclassmen is something that I just can't
Mhm.
say enough to about their ability to come in and just get that ball rolling, which is going to pay huge dividends for them moving forward years to come. So,
Definitely.
like just overall, I think Oklahoma, they may not get to the point to where Stanford is this year, but I do think that they're still going to make it tough for them when they have their entire lineup. Vitaly Gumares is still not in the lineup, recovering from surgery from a broken nose. So I still think like Stanford's still going to have to compete. I know when everyone gets in there, it may be really, really tough. But I still think when Oklahoma is by the end of the year hitting 95 to 100% possibly, they're still going to put
Mhm.
pressure on these teams, especially, someone like Stanford. So, what do you say to that?
Yeah, that's very true. I think Oklahoma's always going to be up there. I mean, you can tell just how many years they've been in the top three. It's been what, 10, 20 years
Yeah.
since they've
Yeah,
been the top three.
20 years. Yeah.
And yeah, and that's just like that's not talent, that's culture, that's how they do things in Oklahoma, and they're always going to be competitive no matter what, and no matter what team they have. And I just think it's going to help in the future. Like you said, these upperclassmen or these lowerclassmen are stepping up. When they become upperclassmen, they're going to blow up, and they're going to I could definitely see them dominating in the next coming years when these freshmen now become seniors and juniors and seniors.
Yep.
So when they take that leadership role, they'll know how the college system works even better than they do now, and it's going to be really fun to watch them grow and develop throughout these
Yeah,
years.
yeah, for sure. Well, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to talk about, some of the athletes that Stanford had taught on the Team USA. We had a Brody Malone sighting, which is just great. We've been wanting Brody to get back out on that competition floor. He had a super long 2021 season, so it's completely understandable that he started the season slow. And he competed 3 events. He went out there, did some new stuff on parallel bars. He only did a lap
Mhm.
dismount. He did pommel horse. He had a fall there, but rings, he's looking strong. So I was just really happy to see Brody out there. He is, our national champion. So it's just really good to go out. It's really good for him to go out there and show that, he's still Brody. He's still great. You know what I mean? Yeah, he had a miss, but at the end of the day, we know Brody's going to get that together by the end of the season. And then, seeing some of Stanford's young guys that competed part of Team USA, Taylor Burkhart, Cole Young, who slayed a pommel horse that almost broke 15, came in with the all around win. So, overall, it was just one heck of a competition. I was just really happy to get a chance to watch it. To be honest, it's just it's nice that I was able to watch it through the Oklahoma Instagram page. I was able to watch it through the Pac-12. So overall, it was nice to be able to watch the gymnastics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of gymnastics going on, and it's fun to watch all of it.
Yeah.
Some competitions, and we'll get to it a little more. That you miss the routines, the coverage is a little off, and so when that happens, it's a little disappointing. It's a little frustrating, but they had a really good coverage here. You can go back and forth with the routines, and you can focus on what you want to focus on. And that's awesome to see, just because you want to watch all the gymnastics going on, and it helps when you have that coverage.
Yeah, yeah, true that, true that. Like you said, congratulations to Stanford on winning the Stanford Open and beating their own counterparts of Team USA slash Stanford. But anyway, it was a great weekend. But let's keep it going. Moving on to the next competition that we saw this past weekend, Michigan takes down number 3 Nebraska.